Welcome to the Dive News Desk here at Money 2020, 2025. I'm Jim Tyson with CFO Dive, and with me here, I have the pleasure to talk to Anand Solanki, the CFO of Citadel Credit Union. So Anand, thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to talk to you. I wonder if you could give us an idea, a conference with 15,000 or more people, venture capitalists, entrepreneurs, people involved in fintech. I wonder, what have you learned so far? What surprised you?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, first of all, as you can see from the cameras and look around, there is so many people representing so many different value providers in the whole value chain. If you think about it, to me, this is one of the primary places where you can see either a lot of depth in any one given area, and at the same time you see a lot of breadth. So every time I come here, it's a surprise that every time it's surprising that there's something more that somebody comes up with. This time, the topic has been overwhelmingly either AI or any form of crypto, stable coin, digitalized token. So that's been the two things that I've seen much more than any other topics.
So what does that mean for Citadel? I mean, when you go back to your office, when you look to consider deploying some of these apps, what does it mean concretely and practically for Citadel? Do you have any new ideas?
Ideas-wise, I would say there are nuances of ideas, because there isn't anything new being introduced here that I'm like, wow, that's surprising, I had no idea. So it's not as much that as it is the realization that it is going to be very important for us to be able to not just take one idea or two ideas, but multiple ideas of the providers that are here, partner with them, and be successful in implementing them without burdening the tech stack. So to me, that's going to be a thing that I take away. Mm-hmm. How do I enable that? Because if you go out shopping and you like too many things, and you're now wondering, how do I buy all of them? But you can't buy it if you can't digest.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything specific, any app that's really stood out for you now that you really will be focusing on, or is it still sort of testing things out and consideration?
I will say that I have a list of at least 5 that I have signed up to do a proof of concept type of thing. They are all over the place. They're in the areas of cleaning data, for example. We have a very good program for analytics, and we have all 3 layers of maturity, but there's still, data is a flow item. It is not a static item. And so what's flowing in, what's flowing out, to be able to do that at to keep it clean. So there's some there. There's some real good ones on agentic AI, particularly in the CFO function. There's also 1 or 2 that I have noted for us to partner with from a stable coin standpoint to explore. That's one of those topics that is talked about a lot, but then what's missing is, what do I do? Like, what's the use case for me? So the predominant use case in the stablecoin industry is still cross-border, which we don't have very much of. So that's a nascent one, but there's at least 5, I would say, that I would want to take away and do a proof of concept.
Excellent. Now, it's a highly competitive environment these days, and AI raises the stakes, and yet you have this old, long-standing CFO imperative to ensure return on investment. So the pressure is on, right?
Yes.
So how do you measure return on investment with this multiplicity of options for apps in a high-stress, high-stakes environment? I mean, are you doing things differently with ROI, with judging ROI? I mean, what would you suggest to other CFOs? How should they go about it?
Yeah, the first thing I say, and the first thing that I remind myself is, to keep that ROI thing at front and center, is to not be blinded by, there is so much glitter around here, and we get blinded by, I want this, I want that. So the ROI lens, for me, means to keep member use cases front and center. So not start by solutions, because these are all solutions, but start with the problem list only. So, but it's a circular thing. So to keep it front and center, I would say, make sure you understand the scope and the breadth that you can now have because of all that I see here, but then attach it with, I only have these many problems that I can tackle today. And I need to make sure that I get the sufficient return on the tool that I'm building today before I start throwing on more and more. So it's a little more of the old style discipline that we always had in doing ROI, and having that granularity of the end user value that's creating and the return versus just throw all of it at it and see what happens.
So you have to know right from the get-go exactly what it is that you need, basically.
That's right.
And have a specific solutions-based approach.
That's it,
yeah.
That's it. And that's really the thing that I have found a little bit hard to do here. Like, so you asked me the first question, what is surprising? AI seems to be the buzzword that everybody still uses. I mean, it's okay, but then what I have to do is to parse through that and say, I know you're using AI, everybody does, but then what exactly are you offering? So
yeah, interesting. So I just wondered, how do you practically go about that? Do you have a team of technologists and people in marketing, people in finance, who maybe go at this very specifically in a narrow way, maybe not investing so much, but just testing things out, or how do you build this out administratively?
Yeah, you're talking about the governance and the discipline, how does it show up in action? So we at Citadel have two things. One is the people or the organization structure, as well as the process. Those hand in hand, we have an organization structure where we have a digital vertical. So the leader of that digital function is charged with many of the things that I mentioned today. So to look at the proof of concept, to look at where the problem is, the scope of how much of this technology solves that problem. Most often what happens is then you have to have not just one, but multiple solutions provider to a given umbrella of problems. And so it then starts getting involved with the technology stack. So the person who leads the IT organization is involved. So this now gets into this process where we have a process where we are integrating, and anytime there is a business case, anytime there is a listed problem, we prioritize together, collectively, to say, digital needs this set of requirements, IT can provide this set of solutions, then there is product function that I also oversee, that gets involved. Finance function does the feasibility for us. So the answer to your question is that the way we have organized ourselves, and then we have a process that goes both agile as well as on a sequential basis that evaluates. So just as an example, 2 weeks ago, all of us in the executive room in the boardroom sat together and said, we have these 37 cases that are demanding our attention, and there's a write-up for all of that, so we collectively have evaluated it. We've asked the questions like, does it align with the strategy, the strategic initiatives? Is it financially feasible? What's the impact size? Is it in the members' favor? What problems is it solving? So we have this framework that we're using to then say, based on that, here's a composite ranking. And then that sort of reshuffles the deck, and then that helps us clear the noise from the signals.
Very good. So it sounds like it's a bottom-up effort with clear guidance at the top and benchmarks as you go along through the journey.
That's it.
Is that correct?
Yes. Good summary.
Yeah. One question. So what keeps you up at night, if anything does, in AI deployment? Anything in just 20 seconds or so?
Oh, that's a tough one. AI deployment, what keeps me up at night? I guess FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
Like it is a fast-paced bullet train, and I fear that just because there is everybody using the same name, and we shouldn't be, what if I make a wrong bet?
Yes.
Like there are so many providers, not everybody I know is going to be continuing to come at the top, so there's that risk. But at the same time, we can't just wait and watch.
Yes, yes. And I suppose there is competitive pressure. There is the time compression that you're always aware of, so
Yeah.
there's little margin for error, I suppose.
That's true. That's getting more and more important now.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So, just one more question. Is AI in a bubble, would you say?
No, I don't think it's in a bubble. There is overhype, for sure. There are people who should never be using AI in their name or description, they're using it. But other than that, it's not used enough. Like the usage of AI, not the term, but the actual implementation in our day-to-day. So I feel like there is tremendous potential that we haven't even seen yet.
Terrific, that's a great way to end it. Thank you, Anand, for all your insights. Thank you for joining the Dive News Desk. I'm Jim Tyson with CFO Dive. Hope to see you again and hope to see all of you again as well.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.